Alright folks, hello and welcome back to another week on the Search Marketing Update, otherwise known as the Shmoo. It was an interesting week again. Google never fails to entertain, so we got a lot of stuff to go through. And, well, let's get her going. Well, I guess it's kind of obvious. The first big story from the week that just passed is going to be Google and the ever-popular featured snippet debate. Everything got going. Jan27, Search Liaison, was discussing it, or at least putting it out there, because I think it was Dr. Peter, someone who first came across it. Anyways, we'll get from the horse's mouth here. If a web page listing is elevated into the feature snippet position, we will no longer repeat it in the first page results. This declutters the results and helps users locate relevant information more easily. Featured snippets now count as one of the top 10 listings we show, which of course got a lot of people going. I also mentioned that there's no change to the overall set of results we are showing. There are still 10 unique listings as before. Duplicating simply means we no longer showing any of those. Okay, so yeah, everyone's kind of losing their crap. For those who may not know, essentially now you're not going to be able to have your featured list snippet and also have one of the top 10 results. So it's going to default to number 2. Some people also were talking about the fact that your non-featured listing now that used to be there on the first page is showing up at the top of the second page. That's again, this is not guaranteed as Danny says, this is not guaranteed position by design, nor might it stay that way. Deduplication does not purposefully move to the second page. So essentially, who knows where it's going to end up. And at the bottom there, I'm sorry, Danny's also talking about, for those asking, this is causing no change in Search Console performance reports. On that note, John Mueller was talking about the average position is based on the top most ranking per query, so this wouldn't change. It's the problem is with some of these is they're on the right hand, which could affect click-through rates, obviously, and I think that's one of the big things people have been talking about. Should they be de-optimizing their featured snippets so they still get that top one? I think it's going to take time here. It's going to be a while till we really figure out the click-through rates and how this is all going to play out. And of course, sometimes being on the right-hand side will not be standardized as well. As Danny Sullivan was saying on his personal account here, someone was asking about this right-hand version of the featured snippet, if that's going to be the case. Danny's saying that it's a featured snippet like variant. We are duplicating there, but on mobile it should be at the top. On up the site again, I think we need to really sit back and wait till we get some more data, till everyone's played with this some more. I don't really think I have any advice at this point. Knee-jerk reactions are never good in our industry, so for the moment we're going to leave it and with no advice. Sorry, just giving you the news. I'm not here to give you SEO advice. You can do whatever the fuck you want. And on a note, just before I go, I saw this in a group I was in this morning.
You serious?
Which kind of bring the point that's kind of funny. Is SEO dead? Yeah. We've all heard that before. Thus, I have my little eye roll gif. But that's the thing with SEO. It keeps getting more complicated. This is just another little piece that we have to deal with. This is just another area that we've got to mess with. And SEO just keeps getting more complicated. It's not getting any easier. And in other news, related news, could be related news, I'm not really sure. You'd have to ask Barry. I just followed Barry. Barry Schwartz was reporting that there could have been a search algorithm update, but we're not sure. Because, just kind of like he said, there's lots of movement showing in the old graphs, but given the fact of the other update and what was going on, we really don't have any idea. So it's probably one of those no news is news things, or could be news, or not really sure. So our next story was coming from Roger Monti again, out of Search Engine Journal. Anyway, so this is a neat one, talking about how to rank important pages. So there you go, like money pages or pages you want to rank, could be informational, it doesn't really matter. But what is some of the actual advice from there? We never know, so it's always good to see stuff like this, so let's take a look. So this one, the question was, is it important for all pages of a site to be accessible? From the main page, for example, some news from 2015 is accessible 10 plus steps in, I'm guessing, clicks. Yeah, I'm not a fan of that, but anyway, so John said, that's perfectly fine. Usually what happens, I hate that, it's the old, yeah, maybe, it depends. Anyways, usually what happens here, or where this comes from, is that a lot of websites that the home page is the most important page of the part of the website, so we recrawl that fairly often. From there, we try to find new and updated pages or other important pages. He goes on to say, so what'll happen is we'll see the home page is really important. Things linked from the home page are generally pretty important as well. And then as it moves away from the home page, we'll think probably less critical. The pages linked directly from the home page are important, fairly well known, but it's worth repeating. In a well-organized website, the major category pages and other important pages are going to be linked from the home page. I guess like he said, you know what I mean, this is fairly standard knowledge, I guess, when crawling things. And I remember a conversation I had with Matt Cutts where he basically explained that sort of like internal linking. Your most important page is going to be, to Google at least, the way they're looking at it, the most important page is going to have the most internal links, and the least important page is going to have the least. So I guess that kind of plays back out into that kind of thinking. And there you go. That pretty much does it for the big stuff this week. Again, I don't want to keep this thing going on too far because, you really don't want to listen to me all day, do you? So the only other thing I really came across major interest this week was Google talking about updating their mobile first indexation and documentation stuff. I'll link that up in the description here on YouTube. Some interesting stuff, I guess. It's worth reading into. Again, the mobile first is important. I haven't looked into what the new changes are, but I'll leave you a link. You can go figure it out for yourselves. Okay, so next, let's go to the Q&A portion of the program. I don't even know what I'm doing anymore. This is where you get to ask me anything you want. You can ask me on Facebook. You can leave it in the comments here on YouTube. Doesn't really matter. Unless, of course, you're watching this on Facebook. Then you could leave them there. I'm not really sure. Mr. Hori, again, is up my butt. One of my favorite trolls out there. So we're not going to go serious this week. We're going to go to this one. You have been referred to as the Michelangelo of the SEO world, which I kind of started reading, and I was like, oh, thank you. I'm so... wait a minute. If you are indeed the Michelangelo, then who would you say is the Leonardo, Donatello, and Raphael of SEO? Okay. Yeah, all right. Thanks, buddy. Well, and more importantly, who is the Master Splinter of SEO? So I had to think about this for a while, and really, since you're taking the piss, I'll take the piss with you. And, well, there you go. You know what I mean? I'll have to go with Bill, Kevin Dury, and, of course, my buddy Doc Sheldon. Would definitely be that. And I'm sure you're all, waiting on bated breath for Splinter. And I guess probably you younger SEOs aren't going to know this guy, but I'm just going to put it up there anyway. As you older folks, you'll probably get it. Yeah, I know. Just had to be done. Which would be Terry Van Horn. And there you have it for another week, folks. Glad you tuned in. Thank you so much. Be sure to go and follow us here, obviously, on YouTube to keep up with everything. Again, we do Friday chats. We do all kinds of different stuff. I'm starting to add some outtakes from those, little bits of information in case you don't want to sit around and watch 2 hours of video. So be sure to check that out. And obviously, we'll have links in the description here for SEO Dojo on Facebook and myself on Facebook and Twitter. Follow along. Enjoy the ride. Till next week, kick ass out there, folks. I'll see you then.